the redeemed of the Lord. The world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know.
Greetings and welcome to Say So. Greetings and welcome to Say So, where we talk about it. Greetings and welcome to Say So, where we talk about it, whatever it is, because what you do not know can hurt you. So let's get to the root. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Letitia R. Stuckey. And today with me, I have another special name of Miss Glynis Bell. And she and I originally met in 2016 at the Indie Author Celebration. And ironically, all of the authors, there were 7 of us, we had just published our books in 2016. And kept in contact, and she has some things that she's into that I would like for her to share with you. And first and foremost, I would like to read a little bit about her so that you guys can feel like you know her as I do. After fulfilling a dream of chartering a Dress for Success North Carolina affiliate, Glynis is now the CEO of Glynis Bell Integrated, LLC. Gifted, beautiful, intelligent, and giving back intentionally. Both mottos she incorporates in motivational workshops that inspire young ladies to be their very best. This is her first book to young ladies in the art of positive self-esteem and presentation. Glynis inspires audiences large and small to live their passion, present their personal best, and make a difference in the lives of others. She is a 1991 graduate of Mass Communications Department at Winston-Salem State University, SU. Of Mass Communications Department at Winston-Salem State University, SU. Yes. And obtained an MS in Consumer Apparel and Retail Studies for the University of North Carolina at Greensboro in May of 2006. And the name of her book is Fierce and Fabulous, A Young Lady's Guide to Inspiration and Positive Self-Image. So, how are you today, Miss Bell?
I am doing very well, my friend. How are you? It is so good to be here with you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am humbled to be able to be here and share with you and your audience.
Oh, that you have decided to bless us with your presence. To get started, I just wanted to ask a little bit about your motivation for publishing a book on being fierce and fabulous.
This came from the saying, it takes a village.
Okay.
And I know, try to tell my age because I'm old school. Mm-hmm. We had mothers and grandmothers and aunties and godmothers and Miss Jones next door.
Yes.
And she could correct you if you were doing something wrong, and she would call your mother, and so you would get it from Miss Jones, and then you would get it from your mother when you got home.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would get it from your mother when you got home.
Mm-hmm.
And so unfortunately, we have lost some of that village.
Yes.
And we have fractured families now.
We do.
And because of that, there are our young ladies and our young men who are not getting the direction and the ground rules that they like. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, each one reach one. I felt the responsibility, and I'll say this probably, I truly believe this, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And I truly feel that it's my responsibility to be able to each one reach one. And if I reach one young person and they're able to be successful, then I have succeeded.
Definitely. Wow. So you're giving back intentionally.
I am.
Definitely. So we're grateful for that, because in the society that we live in, that's definitely needful. There are some things missing from when we were growing up, like you said. But you and others like you are implementing and standing in the gap. So that's definitely a good thing. So can you tell us a little bit about your book?
The book, Fierce and Fabulous, is designed to be inspirational, but it's also designed to give tips and hints.
Okay.
So it's an A to Z guide.
Mm-hmm.
The capital letter in the book is inspiration and motivation. And then the lowercase letter all the way through the alphabet is hints or tips.
Okay.
And so it also has mirror, mirror moments, which you'll see. It has mirror, mirror moments, which you'll see. And those are reflective mirror moments where you can just kind of look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself these questions,
Mm-hmm.
and then respond. And there's also quotes in there from women who have made a positive impact on my life. They could be celebrities, be just everyday people, because everybody has something to give, and it's up to us as individuals to be able to listen. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and so I always say it's important to listen twice as much as we talk.
This is true. This is very true. So, was there and motivated you to want to speak to young ladies specifically about their self-esteem, their self-image? Do you know of anybody, I guess, growing up that kind of struggled in that area? Or?
Well, what inspired me is that, as you mentioned, I did start the organization Dress for Success Winston-Salem,
Mm-hmm.
and that came from a deep place of passion in helping women to be their very best by presenting themselves in a way that would receive positive results.
Okay.
So the organization is a part of a larger organization headquartered in New York that started out giving women suits for their interviews, because we realized that they may have had the skill set but lacked the thing that they needed to present themselves and get in the door.
Right.
And so that's how the organization started. But it quickly morphed into support, connection, mental support, spiritual support, viewing skills. So it morphed into so much more than just the suit. But that's the one thing, the appearance is what gets you in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you need these other skills to stay employed, to stay motivated, and to move to the next level in whatever you do. So that's what inspired that. And so I am no longer currently working with Dress for Success.
Okay.
However, the passion that I have for helping women, and young women especially, be the very best that they can be was inspiration for this book.
Okay.
There was a story I'd share with you. I have a college roommate, and she lives in Ohio, and they call her Dr. D. She went on to get her PhD.
Okay.
And she was working at a community college. And they had a series where the students came in and they interviewed for different positions. And so they did mock interviews for them.
Okay.
So there was a young lady that came in, and her name was Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And she shared this story with me. Ashley had on a very short gold sequined dress.
Okay.
And she said she noted that that wasn't particularly appropriate for this particular situation, but she brought Ashley in, and she said she started looking at Ashley's resume, and she started asking her some questions. And she said, Ashley, what are you coming in to interview for today? And she said, for it. I said, well, why? And she said, well, I just thought that was the only thing that I was qualified for.
Okay.
Well, as she looked at her resume, her GPA was a 4.5 or 4.8.
Wow.
She said at that point she took off the administrator hat and put on her mom and mentoring hat.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, Ashley, you can be anything that you want to be, including you can interview for the president's position of this college. So it is important for each of us to remember that we have a responsibility to help groom and to help teach and to help mold our young ladies and young men.
Yes.
If they don't know any better. And so at the end of the week, Ashley's mom came. They had a reception for them, and she found Dr. D.
Okay.
And she walked up to her and she said, "Are you Dr. D?" And so at that moment, my roommate didn't know whether that was going to be good or bad.
Sounds like.
So she said, "I'm Ashley's mom."
Okay.
Down in tears, and she said, "I want to thank you for helping Ashley." She said, "I helped her dress that morning, and I did not know that that was inappropriate." And so it was a story that left a mark on me.
Right.
That sometimes, if mom doesn't know, if grandma doesn't know, then certainly at some point we have to be those ones who teach.
Excellent. That's an awesome and definitely very impactful story, or actually experience.
Yes.
So my favorite part, one of them, because there's several. I've got green highlight.
Your highlighted pages over there.
is the letter F, and it goes actually perfectly what we're talking about. And it goes actually perfectly what we're talking about. First impressions, you say, really are everything. And the other question I had highlighted is, what will you be remembered for? So as it pertains to first impressions, I think that is definitely very important, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So that's an awesome story. So that's an awesome story involving Ashley and her family. Wow. So if you're no longer with Just for Success, is there anything in particular that you're doing now? Or
I am working in a collective impact initiative with an organization called Imagine for Sight.
Okay.
So back in nonprofit, which is where my heart lies, for Sight addresses the root causes of poverty in the community. And so we're looking at how to make systems level change instead of programs, adding programs. We're looking at trying to make bigger impacts for the better of our community and for the least of those. And so I am excited about that.
Okay.
I am teaching interpersonal psychology.
Okay.
So helping millennials with interpersonal skills. And that has been a very, very fulfilling and humbling experience. And I just was awarded the part-time faculty teacher of excellence for adjunct professionals at the school. And so the students were able to say some very, very wonderful things that brought me to tears. And so I'm very honored to be able to impact young lives. And again, to whom much is given. The motto for Winston-Salem State University is enter to learn and depart to serve. And I hope that I am serving and will continue to serve. So.
It sounds like you are definitely serving. So I know also in the book it talks a little bit about self-esteem.
Yes.
So how would you say a person's self-esteem is reflected outer appearance, their apparel, what they have on?
Well, one of my pet peeves, I'll tell you, Letitia, is, anybody who knows me, is satin bonnets and pajama bottoms. And if both of those are in the same outfit, then I am cringing. Okay?
Gotcha.
Because I feel that oftentimes we have a very casual attitude, and sometimes your casual attitude will create casual dress. And so this is a true story. I was in Walmart, and you see a lot of interesting things in the store.
Yes.
And there was a gentleman in there, and he had on a full set of pajamas, the slippers, and the robe.
Okay.
This was about 7:30 in the evening.
Wow.
And he looked like he was watching his favorite TV, maybe the game. And he ran out of peanuts and his favorite cold beverage, and that he got into the car and drove to Walmart to replenish those things. The other option could have been that he had just gotten released from the hospital, which I'm hoping it was the latter. Because that would have been a little bit more acceptable.
Yes.
However, there's a reason that those things are meant to stay in the house. Because when you present yourself in such a way, you don't know who you're going to run into.
This is very true.
So the example that I use is that, I know that Jesus will meet you where you are, and he will accept you as you are.
Yes.
But if you were in the aisle over there by the apples in Walmart, in the produce section, and he would see you, what would Jesus do, or what would Jesus say?
Right.
Or if you were to meet your Boaz, your boo, your mate for life, then I say that to say that we present ourselves the best that we can be at all times. You don't know who you're going to run into. And if that were a situation where I had a job opportunity, then I may not be willing to give the business card, because if you show up like that, you may show up to work and say, I didn't have time to do my hair today, so that, my bonnet is cute. And so I think that we have to get to a point where we understand that what you project, you attract.
Gotcha.
And so if we project the best that we are and who we are, then we will receive that back from the universe and for job opportunities and from.
I agree. And I know one thing as it pertains to like your self-image and your self-worth, your self-value, like how you feel about yourself in general. Sometimes it's like almost generational. Like if you once you meet the child and you meet mom and grandma, you can kind of see that there's a commonality or a pattern. That this is the way we act.
Yes.
And I can remember watching talk shows,
Okay.
and they would have the makeover. You see the person before and after. Their attitude would kind of be stank, and they would be talking and all loud. And then once they're made up and they have, their hair is laid down and they're looking nice and it complements their figure, then they're ladies at that point.
Yes. There is something that happens, I do believe, in a transformation. I know for me personally, if I put on a suit, or if my son puts on a tie.
Okay.
Last year he was in an intern. My son puts on a tie.
Okay.
Last year he was in an internship situation, and he had to wear a shirt and tie several days a week.
Okay.
And he actually admitted that it changed his attitude, that he felt better.
Yes.
And that he received something different when he presented himself in that way. And so coming from that must have been the truth, because sometimes, you wonder about your own children, but he did say that. And that was telling to me.
Yes.
That if you see it if you get a haircut or you get your hair done, you act differently.
This is true.
And so I do believe that reflects your attitude and how you.
I agree. Wow. So, being, what do you call it? Involved with Dress for Success and all of that, do you have room for more clothes? Like, do you have like one of everything in every color? Like,
well, I will tell you, I'm a shopaholic.
Okay.
And
retail therapy.
Retail therapy.
Sounds better.
No, that's not good to teach
okay.
people in the wrong direction.
Okay, shopaholic.
A shopaholic. But what I do is I like to thrift.
Okay.
Okay, that's a passion of mine.
Okay.
And so a large portion of my wardrobe comes from consignment stores. It comes from thrift stores, and from my favorite, the GW Boutique. And you can heard the saying that one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be about money. It is how you put those things together. And so I've done personal shopping with people. Okay. And have clients that a couple of them have been planning for events and for daughters' weddings. And I'll start out of goodwill with my clients sometimes, but it depends on what they're looking for. Right. But the key is to show them that it doesn't have to cost a whole lot of money to look great. There are some things that I do believe you have to invest in. That is in your skincare and in your health and wellness. Because as I tell people, skincare and in your health and wellness. Because as I tell people, when you go to a class reunion, and I know that I've celebrated several class reunions, I'm not going to say. Okay. But a lot of times people spend a lot of time and money in finding the right outfits or to go to special events, such as the person is your peers, your people are not going to remember what you had on. However, they are going to remember how you look. Did your skin look healthy? Did you look happy? Right. And so they're not going to remember that you spent $500 on that dress you're going to wear one time and the shoes that hurt your feet. They're going to remember how you looked. And so I tell invest in your skincare, invest in your health and your wellness. Also, in certain things that you need for your wardrobe, it is important to have some basic pieces. Okay. It is important for a man to have a suit and a tie. Oh, yes. And a crisp white shirt. Okay. You can use that for interview purposes if you have to go. Oh, yes. And a crisp white shirt. Okay. You can use that for interview purposes if you have to go to a funeral. You can use those things. And for a woman to have something that she feels comfortable wearing that is a matching of the same fabric. Okay. For the same reason. Okay. Those are some basic pieces that you can use. And basically think that all black, all blue has to be boring. I believe in creating your own you. Okay. For me, that is a flower pen. Okay. Okay. Yes. I wear my flower pens. I don't have on one today. I don't have on a jacket. This is true. However, I call them your grow where you're planted pens. Okay. And when I get compliments, I call them your grow where you're planted pens. Okay. And when I get compliments, I say, thank you so much. I am hoping that I am brightening the soil that I'm in. It's not going to be where I am always, but right now I'm brightening the corner of the flower garden that I'm in. Gotcha. And so that's my signature. It could be a signature haircut. It could be a signature red diamond studs or pearls. Whatever it is, find your fierce and fabulous factor and rock it. Okay. When people see you, that's what they're going to expect.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to feel.
Okay.
And you said something earlier about, let's talk about valuing yourself.
Okay. Yes.
In the book, I talk about sale rack.
Okay.
And think about this in life. And getting behind the glass counter where the valuables are held.
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody looks, they're not going to say, that's sale rack material. No, they're going to say, no, that's behind the glass where you need a key.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we should be to build our self-esteem. We should look at ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's where we should be to build our self-esteem. We should look at ourselves as the valuable behind the glass.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is awesome. Definitely. I think in our community, definitely there's a need for that sense that of knowing that you are a queen, and just being able to, like you said, dress the part and knowing the difference. So, did you have grandma? Did you have mom that taught you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I had mom,
Uh-huh.
and mom is a petite young. We say she's vertically challenged,
Okay.
but mom is short and feisty.
Okay.
And so I had grandma that not only helped buy the clothes, but they taught you how to wear them.
Okay. That's important.
You knew that you had, and again, I'm going back to how old I am. You had a set of school clothes.
Okay.
You had play clothes.
Yes.
You had church clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so don't get caught playing in your good clothes.
Right.
You needed to take those off and hang them up. And like I've said, I got to know my great-grandparents. To take those off and hang them up. And like I've said, I got to know my great-grandparents. My great-grandfather had 18 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And so I had a long lineage of getting to know your family. And it was very interesting because there were certain things that they just taught, didn't have a lot, but what they had, they took care of, and they took pride in wearing it. And so if you look back, and I did some history, looking back in history, is that people wore hats and gloves, and they might not have had a lot again, and but what they had, they took care of and they wore.
Yes.
And so it's important to create respect for
Definitely.
yourself.
Definitely.
And it's not what you're called, but it's what you answer to.
This is very true. This is true. Okay. And even it makes me think of some of our younger people, how they just automatically want some of our younger people, how they just automatically want and demand respect, but it's a two-way street and they don't necessarily give it, and so on and so forth. So what are some of the basic pieces? I think I remember reading something like, is it a blazer, a black blazer, or a blazer that you, and some jeans or something. So what are some of the basic pieces that you think a wardrobe should have, minimally?
Okay. I'm a blazer person.
Okay, yeah.
Because
nice.
You can put on a white collared shirt or a white t-shirt or black t-shirt. Put your jacket on over there, and whether you have on slacks or a day, it dresses it up just a little bit.
It does.
And fit is very important.
Yes.
If you're going to spend the time and the money to purchase it, make sure that it fits. And there are alterations available. Sometimes alterations are expensive, but it depends on. Sometimes alterations are expensive, but it depends on the longevity of the item. You know, there are certain things that if you, like society, if you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, instead of going out and buying a whole new, just get it altered.
Yes.
And so that's important to know. And dress for your body shape. What looks good on you? And I have a saying that even though it's on sale, even though it's the color of the season, even though it's in the magazines and on the runways, even though it's on sale, it may not be for you.
This is true.
You don't have to have it in your closet if it doesn't work for you. So I think a huge part of finding some of those pieces and something that works for you is knowing what looks good on you and what works. The skinny jeans, they may not look good on everyone.
No, ma'am.
And I don't have a skinny jean body anymore. So there are certain things. I think you can still be trendy, but you may not be able to go to, say, Forever 21, because there's a reason they call it that, to purchase your whole wardrobe. There are things that you can purchase there that may be trends for the season. So when you invest in them, and those are really not investments, to an investment in purchases.
Right.
Because at the end of the season, if what's popular now, some of the tassels and things go out, then you haven't spent a whole lot of money in them, but you're still on trend and you still look nice.
Mm-hmm.
A good pair of shoes for ladies, closed toe.
Right.
It needs to be comfortable.
Yes, that's important.
And a nice handbag.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you can put your, if you're going on an interview type of situation, you can put your portfolio, your resume in. And those are some things that automatically kind of, you didn't have to pay a lot of money for them, but those are some things that you can make work.
Gotcha. I agree. I know I'm very big on accessories because the accessories, in my opinion, make your outfit pop. Like you could have on plain black, but if you put some metallic, some gold, some silver, bronze, rose gold,
it does.
Definitely.
Yes, and your accessories are banging today, by the way. I don't know if we're going to leave the show without those, but it looks good.
Thank you.
I do believe that. I do say, though, that if you have on a couple of accessories, accessories are like icing on the cake. I talk about this in the book too. You want to make sure that you don't put too much icing too. You want to make sure that you don't put too much icing on or too many accessories on, so that you forget about the outfit underneath and the cake underneath. So all things in rational portions.
Definitely.
There was someone who had a ring on every finger.
Yeah.
And they have been very expensive and may have been very nice, but all of them at one time didn't make the impact that, say, one or two would, in my opinion.
I agree. And that was a while back. I don't know if people still do that, but that was like the fad to have a ring on every finger, whether it was silver, whether it was gold, the big bulky things they called clusters. Remember all of that.
It was a lot going on.
It really was. And like you said, if there's a nice piece, you can't really focus in on it because you have so much else to look at.
Yes.
So definitely, accessorizing is good with moderation.
There's another thing I want to share too, Letitia, is about body art.
Okay.
And about hair color and nails.
Yes.
I know that the stiletto nails are very, very big now.
Yes.
And there's a time and place for everything. And so I see them with ladies who are at the cash registers. I know for me, I have short nails, and I don't know what I would do with a whole lot of nails. I don't know that I would be able to do some of the things that I do, but obviously they're making a way to make it happen.
Okay.
But I think that there are certain things that are guys with earrings, I know a lot of times that they will be asked to take them out.
This is true.
And again, there's a time and a place for those things. The same thing with body art. If you're going into a professional setting, then it may be appropriate to take your piercings out and to cover up your body art until you see what the atmosphere allows.
Okay.
And I tell young people that sometimes with hair, with locks, and with natural hairstyles, those are still things that are questioned by those people in hiring positions.
True.
And a lot of times, 99% of the time, if you don't understand something, you may fear it.
Yes.
And so with that being said, you may have to change some things to get in the door of certain places.
Right.
But once you prove yourself and you prove your worth ethic, your worth and your work ethic,
right, then
you can branch out into some more creative things. But to get in, you may have to change those things. And so young people, they'll argue with you. I'm cutting my locks. I'm not cutting my beard. Well, that's a choice that you make, but it could mean the difference between getting the job or getting the opportunity and not. So you just have to weigh those things always.
You do, definitely. So, wow, this has been definitely insightful. So do you have like lots of I don't know, well, play daughters or play sons? Because you got the mug and
I have two children that I birthed myself.
Okay.
I have my daughter who is a freshman. She just finished her freshman year.
Okay.
She's majoring in psychology.
Oh, okay.
And my son is a rising junior, and he